Hi there, Dr. Dan here. Many times students are challenged with taking information, typing it into Word, and then copy and pasting it into the discussion area. So for this video, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do this so that way your formatting doesn't change. And that's typically the problem. There are some other small problems here that I'm going to address. First off, I will tell you that it is important that you first type out your discussion in a Word document, because that way you can not only work on the formatting, but also save that document for future reference. If you were to type out information directly into the discussion area, if you had to leave for a moment, come back, and it times out, you may potentially lose all that information and all sorts of other things. So we're going to focus on the proper way of submitting your initial discussion post, and that is first typing out into a Word document, then copy and paste it to the discussion area. Now, what you have here in front of you is a discussion from a student. Lots of quality information here. There's definitely some formatting issues even before the document is copy and pasted into the discussion area. And what I mean by that is we do not have complete paragraphs here. They're only one sentence per paragraph and so on, which that's something that is maybe a topic for another day. But it should look more, maybe this doesn't make sense here, but just to give you a quick idea, it would look something more like this, where you have, let's just combine a couple paragraphs. Like I said, maybe some of these, some of these doesn't make sense, but click on this here, title, this would be here, and so on. So that way you have more complete paragraphs. Now, with that being said, let's look at the challenge that we have with this document. So you might think, okay, everything looks really good, it's formatted properly, our references are formatted properly. Let's go and highlight the entire document, and then we are going to press, so remember this if you don't know how to do it this way, because you can right click and copy paste, or you can simply press Control C for copy. Again, that was Control C for copy. Now what we are going to do is over here in front of you, you have, I already opened up a discussion area. Here's the message board. Now again, I'm going to press Control V for paste. You can find that on the internet if you don't remember that. And you'll notice instantly all of our information, all that formatting is kind of screwed up there. So if I go ahead and now press Submit, what you're going to end up with is a very messy looking post. This is very difficult for the reader to read. It's very sloppy. There's all sorts of errors going on here and so on. So we don't want to do that. So let's go ahead and delete that. Now I'm going to show you first off an option you immediately have. So even if you don't take my advice here, what I'm going to give you in a short while here, you have some other options that any student can very quickly do. So again, here, let's say I go ahead and I copy paste it, and as a student I look at this and I go, oh my gosh, my formatting's all screwed up. What do I do here? Well, what you can do is you can go ahead and within the document itself, now you can start, press enter, put spaces where they need to go. You can, if needed, like I did earlier, combine paragraphs. I'll press delete. I'll get that over there. Put that there. I won't do it for the second one to take up too much time, but like in your reference list, you can see these are not full lines. So here I can just move the line over where it's supposed to be. Format that, put spacing there, and so on. And then once we submit it, now granted I didn't update the whole thing, but you can see already how much better this is looking compared to this here, and how much better this reference is looking compared to this right here. So that's one way you can do it, manually update your information. Now the second way, and this is what I guess I would recommend to you, so that way let me get the right document in front of us here, that way you address the problem before it even happens, is the problem we have here is there are some spacing issues going on that you might not recognize. I addressed this in other videos that I may have provided you, but let's look at it again. So now I highlight the entire document, and this time what I'm going to do, let's look at our toolbar here. We're going to go to the Home tab, and then right over here, line and paragraph spacing. What you'll see is we are single spaced, but we have these remove space before and after paragraph buttons highlighted. So therefore, if I remove space before, I remove space after, well, look at all of a sudden everything, doesn't this look familiar? This is basically, except there's even more problems once we paste this, but you can see this is basically what it looks like when we originally pasted our discussion. And that's because Blackboard does not recognize certain types of formatting that Word does, including this line spacing issue that I just addressed right here. Let's change this one as well. Let's see here. And finally, so we got a couple things going on here. Let's paste there, remove. Okay. So here's what we need to do. And that is, the first thing was what I just showed you. I highlighted everything and I removed these spaces before after paragraph. Now what we need to do is manually put in spaces where they need to be. Now, you can always look up. When I say look up, you can always do a Google search, whatever, to learn how to use Microsoft Word more properly. You can look up on how you can set your Microsoft Word up to begin with, so it does not put every time these extra paragraph spacing in there. Once you set it up properly, then in the future you will not have these problems every time. It will basically format the way you want it. Alright, so now what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've formatted this manually, so now you can see we actually have spaces in here, rather than, again, if this was highlighted, you would actually have all these other spaces, and it messes a lot of stuff up. Whereas now, see the way this looks? Looks similar to before, right? We still have our spaces in there and everything. Now let's watch what happens. We're going to go ahead and highlight everything. Press Control-C for copy. I'll go ahead and I will bring over the discussion. I'll press Reply. Now we have our discussion message area here for us. I will press Control-V for paste. Now all of a sudden, look at this. Now we have our spaces in there. We still have right here a formatting issue, and that was something that when this discussion was created, there was some sort of challenge right there. I'm not sure what that was. So sometimes you have to manually correct information, like I did before. I'll press Enter there, press Delete, move over the line. So now that looks good. Here's another problem over here. Let's leave this one. Let's not correct it and just see what happens when we don't correct that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and submit this. So I got to move this over a little bit. I'll press Submit. And let's now look at nicely formatted. We did not have to manually do all that. It was formatted nicely because the original Word document that we created had the proper spacing in there. You will notice here this one that we did not correct. Look at how it is compared to these. So this needed to be corrected because this is not properly formatted. So there again, that we would have had to manually correct. So I hope this helps you. Again, I guess the main point behind this discussion we're having is to properly set up your Word document and the document you're typing in Word before you submit it to the discussion area. If you do that, then all of your problems will be addressed, and all you have to do is press Submit, and you're done. If you do not do that, then the other option would be within this area would be to go ahead and manually edit the information. Now you cannot press this edit screen. That's only for professors. So you have to do this before you actually submit your information. So in this case, here, sorry, I'm jumping around there a little bit. So in this case, what you'd have to do is, like in here, before you press Submit, again, you'd have to manually press Delete and extra spaces and so on. So that way you can go ahead and align everything where it should be. So then once you press Submit, again, now you can see that this one is properly formatted. Okay, so I hope that helps you out. Again, there are answers to all these challenges that you have, whether it be APA challenges, formatting issues, whatever they are. I know it can be frustrating at times because there's a lot to learn, but I can tell you that there are answers, there are solutions. So if you encounter some challenges, I just encourage you to reach out and ask someone for some help. We're very happy to provide you the help that you need. Thanks a lot, and hope you have a wonderful day.